Kenny from Red Bull Global Rallycross, and you're listening to Thursday Night Thunder on Speed.
Sorry about the brief delay there, but hello and welcome to the March 11th edition of Speedway Digest, Thursday Night Thunder, the most hardcore motorsports program on the internet. This is episode 203 of the series. Tonight, we'll be reviewing this past weekend at PBIR, reviewing upcoming events, and discussing whatever other racing pops into the conversation. Ever since news broke that Nitro Rallycross is expanding into the standalone championship series, industry insiders and fans alike clamored to find out when racing will heat up and how to catch the action. Now, the groundbreaking motorsports property created by Travis Pastrana and Nitro Circus is revealing the inaugural leg of its global strategy, as well as the first details on how U.S. auto enthusiasts can watch.
Starting this fall, Nitro Rallycross will power off the starting line with 5 events in 4 months across North America. Each stop will feature vast purpose-built tracks incorporating innovative course designs, mixed services, and the biggest jumps in the sport. Throttling up at Utah Motorsports campus, NRX's home since its 2018 inception, the 2021 series will kick off on September 24th and 25th. Back-to-back weekends at Wild West Motorsports Park near Reno, Nevada, and ERX Motorsports Park outside Minneapolis, Minnesota will immediately follow. Then on November 13th and 14th, the racing resumes at Phoenix Wild Horse Motorsports Park before culminating December 4th and 5th at the FIRM Florida International Rally and Motorsports Park located between Jacksonville and Gainesville.
In addition to going bumper to bumper against each other on NRX's massive courses, these elite pros will contend with an extreme range of conditions, from the dry desert and towering mountains to the southwest, to the lush wetlands of the southeast, showcasing extraordinary backdrops at every turn. The racing will be packed into intense, short-form battles, pitting drivers against one another as they head-to-head in 600 horsepower HP supercars capable of accelerating faster than a Formula One vehicle. Each stop will also include a separate NRX Next competition to provide the next generation of emerging talent an opportunity to hone their skills in this pioneering new motorsport discipline. Drivers from both ranks will also have the opportunity to train on NRX's cutting-edge courses year-round, revving up progression further still, since all tracks will be a permanent addition to each facility.
Nitro Rallycross adrenaline-charged lap across the continent this year marks just the first leg of the property's global expansion. A 10-race series will follow in 2022, featuring a spectacular winter race in Canada to add ice and snow to the conditions the drivers will face. Additional races will follow before the action shifts across the Atlantic to Europe and the Middle East. Next year, we'll also see the introduction of a transformational electric SUV supercar class. Foundational partner Red Bull has extended their multi-year alliance with Nitro Rallycross, while another foundational sponsor, Yokohama, also returns, expanding their involvement to become the official tire partner for the series. Subaru Motorsports USA, which has participated in NRX from the beginning, fielding legendary drivers like Travis Pastrana and Scott Speed, is now joining as a series sponsor as well. Returning sponsor O'Reilly Auto Parts has also significantly increased their commitment.
Automotive enthusiasts in the U.S. can watch every exhilarating fight to the finish live on Peacock for free. 8 hours from each North American stop will be streamed on NBCU's new streaming service. In addition, a 1-hour highlight show will air after each race on NBCSN. Viewers can sign up for Peacock at peacocktv.com. Peacock is currently available on the Roku platform, Apple devices including iPhone, iPad, iPod Touch, Apple TV 4K, and Apple TV HD, Google platforms and devices include Android, Android TV, Chromecast, and Chromecast built-in devices. Microsoft's Xbox One family of drivers, including Xbox One S, including Xbox One S, Xbox One, Sony PlayStation 4, PlayStation 4 Pro, and PlayStation 5. and Vizio Smartcast TVs and LG Smart TVs. Compass eligible Xfinity X1 and Flex customers, as well as eligible Contour customers, enjoy Pre-Cut Premium included with their service at no additional cost.
Globally, Nitro Rallycross will be distributed in over 140 countries and has secured partnerships with the following broadcast partners: Tencent, BeIN Sports, and Supersport, with more to be announced soon. Few figures in American Rallycross have done more, both on and off the track, for the sport than Steve Arpin. The Ontario-born Arpin grew up racing anything from snowmobiles to bathtub boats before catching the eye of such racing luminaries as Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Carl Edwards, and spent multiple years in NASCAR before making the switch to Rallycross in 2013.
Arpin scored his first ever Rallycross platform win in 2014 and was responsible for bringing multiple big names into the sport, landing the sport of ship chassis racing and the sport developing his first win on the same weekend as they brought the Ford GT back to the winner's circle at Le Mans. For the past 3 years, he served as driver and general manager at Lone Bro Motorsports, running a multi-car operation for some of the sport's most talented drivers and helping bring a strong future for side-by-side, high-flying rallycross action in the United States. We're now pleased to welcome Steve Arpin to the program. Hello, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great, you guys. How are you?
Very well, thank you for calling in. First off, how did you first become interested in the world of auto racing?
Oh, God, that goes a long ways back. Honestly, it's been something. I used to go to the racetrack with my dad, who raced as a hobby locally in Canada. And I used to go to the racetrack, starting out switching his trailer and stuff. And I got started working on the car, and eventually I got the opportunity to hop in the go-kart myself. And from that moment on, I was absolutely hooked.
Going into Bristol next week, how do you feel about the historic concrete high bank oval being covered in dirt?
Honestly, we had the opportunity to test there. I was one of the very few that were fortunate enough to get to go there and test the new surface out. And whenever you go to Bristol Motor Speedway, it's just the biggest honor. It's genuinely like a coliseum. Like, you literally feel like a gladiator pulling in there and seeing that facility. It's absolutely incredible. And then my passion, my heart and soul in racing has always been in dirt. So to be able to participate in this historic event, there's hundreds and hundreds of cars, probably over 1,000 cars that are going to be at that event this week, and it's giving the grassroots guys the opportunity to get on the same racetrack at the same time as some of the biggest names in motorsports. So to be able to take our Fusion Modified there and go out and have a great time, it's a perfect sponsor to have, because the emotions, the anxiety, everything's going to be just absolutely through the roof. So be able to have some Head Fusion products keep me calm before we go out there and have a good race.
You just touched on this briefly a second ago, but do you prefer asphalt tracks or dirt track?
Honestly, my heart and soul's in dirt. Right? Dirt is so much fun. You can do so much as a driver to search around. If you miss the setup a little bit, if you're off, you can move around and search so much more. Obviously, there is the ability to do that in asphalt, and you see guys like Kyle Busch and Jimmy Johnson who are the absolute best at that, and Kyle Larson, and we got him back in NASCAR. Some of those guys are the best at it, but it's so much more driver dependent on the dirt. And on the asphalt side of things, it's very much so more equipment dependent. So my heart and soul's in dirt, but it's honestly it's two very different thrills. So I can't necessarily say one's better than the other. It's just very different thrills, and getting the opportunity to experience both is pretty cool.
Growing up, who was your favorite driver?
Honestly, I've always been an Earnhardt fan. So my dad was a Dale Senior fan, and I naturally just became a Dale Senior fan, and then just automatically became, like, if you like Senior, you just naturally become a Dale Junior fan. So I was always a Dale Senior fan growing up.
And of all the tracks you competed on in your career, what's your favorite one?
Oh man, that's a tough one. We've been in a lot of racetracks over the years. Honestly, I would say one of my favorite tracks ever. It's just so much fun, and I just get like the butterflies in my stomach when I think about going there. Would probably definitely have to be Deer Creek Speedway. And then the other one that's in dirt modified racing, but the Salt Lake City and the track that Nitro Rallycross has built for Nitro Rallycross with the big gap jumps, the tabletops all over, the step up jumps, the bank corners. It just has so many different characteristics that being able to compete on that and just fly through the air. I think we made the highlight reel. I was dangling off the edge of a 130 foot gap jump last year, or 2 years ago. We kind of missed 2020. But it was, that's definitely one of my favorite, or by far my favorite rallycross track for sure.
Well, let me go ahead and throw you out to my co-host, Mykkal Mulalley, in Afraid of Washington, who has some questions for you as well.
Okay, so my first question for you, do you have any race day rituals?
You know, I really don't. So my role as a race car driver is very different than most. And honestly, this is one of the biggest things that we always do is try and partner with sponsors and companies that we genuinely use in our life. And this is why Hemp Fusion is such a perfect sponsor for me. It just helps so much with my overall wellness because I've got so much on my plate trying to keep the race team going. So I'm not just the driver of the team. I manage all the business aspects of the team as well and the day-to-day operations. So I car trying to get it ready. And that being said, I really don't have time for daily rituals or for pre-race rituals because we're typically dealing with all the business stuff and sponsors and trying to take care of all our partners and everything at the racetrack. And I just get told last minute when it's time to hop in the race car and try and take the business hat off and the sponsor hat off and put the race car driver hat back on. So I really don't have the time to get into any race day rituals.
Okay, and what is one of your most amazing racing moments?
Did we lose you?
Are you still there?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Okay, good. Sorry about that.
Not a problem.
So, what is one of your most amazing racing moments in your entire career?
Oh man, you know, I gotta say that just one of your questions, or your co-host questions a few minutes ago is who's my favorite driver, and Dale Jr.'s at the top of that list. And when I got the opportunity, it was right after the Salem ARCA win back in 2009, and my phone rang and it was Dale Jr. calling and offered me a ride in his Xfinity car. I would say of all things, that was probably a major sticking point in my career. Like I've been so fortunate to have so many incredible opportunities, but going back to that was a huge thing, and it was just so important to me because to have a call from my idol for one, but then all the people that have supported me and helped me get to that point, my parents first and foremost, and Paul and John Leach and their families, and the Nelson family, and all the people that have just completely poured their faith in my abilities as a race car driver. To have that moment, it was the Emo family out of Canada, like to share that moment with all of those people that have poured so much into helping me get there was just a remarkable feeling.
And what are you thinking about when you are hauling cookies around the racetrack?
Well, hauling cookies, that's a new one. I haven't heard that one before. Honestly, you really don't have that much time in there. The biggest thing is in motorsports, and this is one of the things that you don't necessarily see from the outside looking in, but the driver is essentially the onboard computer of the race car, and the driver has to absorb and essentially log every little thing that race car is doing from a handling standpoint, from a vibration or a mechanical malfunction standpoint. You have to really analyze the racetrack and what the racetrack's doing, where there's grip, where you feel your best, where you feel your strengths are, where you feel your weaknesses are, and that you have to improve on, and where those strengths and weaknesses are related to and relative to your competition. So when you're going around the racetrack, you're essentially just analyzing every single data point, as many data points as your mind can handle, to ultimately provide that feedback back to your crew chief to give them the information they need to make the proper adjustments on the car, and as well as to understand what you have to do as a driver to get the most you can out of the race car. So when you're going around the racetrack, as soon as you put that helmet on, that's you basically turn into an onboard computer and trying to maximize the performance of that race car.
And you kind of answered this one a little bit, but what forms of racing do you personally follow the most?
Honestly, I enjoy, especially with how busy we are now, I enjoy a NASCAR race. To sit back Sunday afternoon and chill with my wife. I enjoy watching a NASCAR race, but what I get most into and dedicated to following and genuinely interested in is just all phone spirit racing. It's the industry's come so far, the technology, there's so many friends that I get to watch do it, and with all the different streaming services available now, you have so much access to watch what's going on around the country with all these different streaming services. It's pretty incredible. Like RaceXR is doing live streaming of Bristol all this weekend, and it's incredible.
Well, my final question for you this evening, when you're not driving your race car, how hard is it to transition from race car driver to cruising the streets?
Have you talked to my wife? She would have pressured you into that one. It's an issue I've had, for sure. I think I'm maturing now. So it's definitely an issue I had. When we were going for my citizenship, I got my U.S. citizenship last year, and one of the biggest challenges we had was going through my driving record and listing all the driving infractions that had to be listed. So that was a challenge. But since then, I'm 37 now, so I'm slowly maturing and getting a lot better at. Honestly, I'm really cheap, so all the speeding tickets really just kind of started to burn too much of a hole in my pocketbook. So that's probably why I'm slowing down now.
Well, we'd like to thank you very much for coming on the program this evening, and wish you lots of luck there in Bristol this coming weekend, and a whole lot of luck there in Nitro Rallycross coming up in a little while.
Awesome. Hey, we appreciate it. More than you know. And if anyone's in the market for any hemp fusion, make sure to get on the website, hempfusion.com. The code ARPIN, ARPIN, can get you 25% off and free shipping on your first order. So good quality products. And make sure to check out SCT and Yokohama products as well.
Thank you very much, and have a great night.
You guys too. Appreciate you having me.
Thank you. Once again, that was Steve Arpin, who's going to be racing this weekend at Bristol in his late model, and he'll be racing coming up in the Nitro Rallycross series. So be sure to check that out. I'm hoping to actually make it to a Nitro Rallycross race sometime in the future. I really loved the Rallycross series when that was going on, and I think it has a really good year this year, and it picks up and keeps going. Are you a race car driver, crew chief, pit member, track owner? Maybe you're just a huge fan of the sport. Contact either Mykkal Mulalley-Kapalo or myself to get your spot on the show. After all, you have every 15 minutes of fame, and we'd love to hear from you.
Mission Foods, the world's leading brand for tortillas and wraps, and a proud supporter of motorsports, is thrilled to be kicking off the 2021 Progressive American Flat Track Series tomorrow in Volusia. For the first time in the company's history, Mission Foods will be sponsoring the Progressive AFT Series Premier Class, now known as the Mission Super Twins. Progressive AFT is a high adrenaline competitive motorcycle racing series that features custom-built and production-based motorcycles piloted by world-class athletes who reach top speeds of 140 miles per hour on straights and 90 miles per hour in corners.
The 2021 Progressive AFT Series starts with a double-header red featuring the exhilarating Volusia half-mile 1 and 2 races on Friday and Saturday, March 12th and 13th. Volusia Speedway Park in Barberville, Florida. Mission Super Twins, one of 3 classes entering the races. Consists of twin-cylinder motorcycles, 650 to 900 cc's. These motorcycles contain the latest in motorsports technology and will be piloted by an exclusive cadre of the fastest athletes on dirt. The event will also feature AFT singles and AFT. Mission Food sponsorship will also introduce a new element to every Progressive AFT event, the Mission Too Fast, Too Tasty Challenge. This 4-lap competition will feature riders who qualify for the front row of the Mission Super Twins main event brawl, the main event, gridling order, and a $5,000 cash prize. Mission Foods will also serve as the official tortillas and chips of the American Flat Track Series. Now, we were going to talk about this weekend in Gainesville. We're going to mention that a little bit. There is the NHRA series does kick off this weekend at the Gator Nationals in Gainesville. Camp World Drag Racing Series qualifying will feature 1 round at 4 p.m. Eastern on Friday, March 12th, with the 2 final rounds slated for 12:05 p.m. and 4 p.m. on Saturday, March 13th. Final eliminations are scheduled for 10 a.m. on Sunday, March 14th. Television coverage includes qualifying action on Fox Sports 1 at 3 p.m. Eastern on Saturday, March 13th, and live eliminations begin at noon on Sunday, March 14th on the Fox National Broadcast Network. Tickets are still on sale and be purchased by visiting NHRA.com. Hopefully, it's going to be a great weekend of racing. I know there's a lot of stuff going on. In addition to the racing there at the Gator Nationals, they also have the racing going on there at Bristol, and NASCAR will be in Phoenix this weekend. Hopefully, it's a good weekend of racing, and we're going to get into that a little bit more with a review of that event next week on the show. But this evening, we're going to go ahead and cut the show a little bit short because we do have some other business to attend to this evening. So be sure to check out past episodes of Thursday Night Thunder, as well as the other shows on the Speedway Digest Radio Network at speedwaydigest.podbean.com. You can also check out the show on Facebook by searching for Speedway Digest Thursday Night Thunder in the search bar. I also invite you to read other articles covering all aspects of motorsports at speedwaydigest.com. We've had a lot of different stuff posted on this week, including previews of the racing in Gainesville, as well as some information about the racing taking place at the Volusia Motorsports Park and some other events going on around. Plus, there's previews of some of the new racing events getting ready to kick off, including the Nitro Rallycross Series. Be sure to check that out at speedwaydigest.com. In addition, if you're a fan of South Florida, and who isn't, be sure to check out the latest news and information about our slice of paradise and my site, my blog there, For More Plums Fantastic Finds. You can be found on Facebook, Twitter, and by heading to For More Plums Fantastic Finds.wordpress.com.
Thank you for listening, and we look forward to seeing you again next week in the Thunderdome as we discuss the major issues in the world of modern auto racing.
Thanks again to our guest tonight, Steve Arpin, and we look forward to hearing from him in the future, and it'll be a great season for him, we're quite certain, and hopefully it'll be a great weekend of racing action. See you again next week, and thanks again.